poor in East Kingston, encountered a number of difficulties along the way, but eventually got 2 master's degrees as well as a PhD in engineering. Today he's in research and development at the Samsung Display Company in South Korea. Welcome to Profile. I'm Ian Boyne. Shallon, good to have you on the show. Good to have you home. What a journey it has been from Doncaster in East Kingston to now South Korea at the outstanding Samsung. When you look back at your journey, what are some of the thoughts that go through your mind?
Right now, going through my mind is what a journey it has been to actually be here live on your program. A program that I've spent a lot of my
time watching
and never in my dreams. I never ruled it out.
Yes, yes.
It actually happening now, you know. I feel be pinching myself.
But so deserved. I mean, you ended up at the top of your master's class at the University of Newcastle in Britain, #1 student there. You've been so many distinctions. You got an award as a result of the master's program, which
so when I went to England, I went there and I pursued a master's in process controls, and at the end of the program, it was a 1-year intense program. At the end of the program, I got the top grades in all of the subjects, and overall average, I got the first place overall average in terms of having gotten top grade in all of the subjects.
Whoa. Yes.
So I was awarded the top performing student award. As a consequence, I created a lot of head turners. You know, all of a sudden,
people wanted to find who's this fella? This Jamaican fella?
Jamaican guy.
Yeah.
Scoring up these grades, you know. So I had a few professors fighting over me, inviting me to pursue PhD studies. I had done internship with during the masters with a company in England, and they were very impressed by my work there during the internship months. They were also scouting me, so it was a very rewarding feeling, you know, having put in the work and actually seeing the fruits of your results, you know, being recognized for your work. You came from a poor family of 6 down in East Kingston.
Yes.
Your
mother had to move you from Holy Rosary to Franklin Town Primary School. There was no money.
Yes, it was actually Runton Town Primary.
Town Primary, yeah.
So my sisters were also moved from Holy Rosary Prep to Calabar All Age, which was even rougher than, I get to understand, was even rougher than Runton Town Primary. But yes, I only was able to do 1 year at Holy Rosary Prep because
money run out.
The money run out, and we had more siblings coming on the scene. Yeah. And so, you know, and more in school. So when you have parents from humble jobs, my father was a printer working at in government printing office. My mother was a secretary, a low entry-level secretary at the Ministry of Labor, and they had to be providing for 6. So
it was difficult.
I had no choice.
What things?
I would say it wasn't the worst. I have heard worse stories, but it certainly wasn't the best. There were days when we went to school with just enough for bus fare, and I have had to watch my father swallow his pride at times and borrow money from the neighbor, go seeking money from the neighbor to give us lunch money. I have had to watch my mom mix the cheese with butter and spread it as thin as possible because it had to divide and provide lunch for all of us. So many days I had to take lunch to school. I wish I could buy the box food at lunchtime like my other classmates at St. George's College, but you know, you just have to work with it. That's what my parents could afford. And there were days, as I say, we went to school and I had to wait, and if my father wasn't able to hustle up the money before we went off to school, sometimes we had to wait on myself and my younger brother, my immediate younger brother. We had to wait on our dad, who would most of the time come through.
Sometimes.
But there were times when don't come through and we had to return from lunch without lunch and continue the day. And
there wasn't much in the way of clothes.
And in terms of clothes, it was pretty much church and school, you know. That was my mother's practice.
Yeah,
outside of that, the weekend I would avoid if there was a weekend class, I would have probably avoid it because I don't want to be wearing church clothes.
Yes.
Go to a weekend class with other guys in their sneakers and their jeans.
And
stuff.
none of that.
If I had it, I probably had a one pair at the most. So if you're going to be going to class every weekend, you would have to be.
So you have to avoid the Saturday class.
So I would avoid the Saturday class. If there's a in the week class, I don't care how late it is, I would rather go to in the week class and wear my uniform. So I would be seen in my uniform probably most of the time throughout my high school career. And
but you did very well at St. George's.
Yes,
left with distinction.
I also at St. George's. By the time fifth form, I didn't really perform at the level I knew I was capable of. So there were at the end of my fifth form year, I got some subjects, but I didn't get the 9, 10, 14 subjects that you hear students get these days. So there weren't much attention
to you
at me. I remember when I submitted my application to the University of the West Indies to study engineering, and the lady looked at my CXC results. You know, it wasn't bad, it was 7 subjects, but you look at my CXC results, I was applying for the most sought after, the most competitive program within the engineering program, electrical and computer engineering. And she thought she was giving me good advice. She knew I needed A's and B's to get into that program. So she advised me, young man, based on your track record here, I don't think you're going to get into it. I said, you don't worry about my track record. I said, how can you formulate a track record from once? I did one subject, I did one sitting, exam sitting. It's not like I have a history of failing or not performing up to standards. I said, you know what?
That was before the A-levels.
That was before the A-levels. So she looked at my CXC results and said, there's no way you're going to get into this program, so you should choose something else. And I tell her, you don't worry about that. I worry about that. I'm sticking with this. This is what I want to do. And so it was at that moment, I said, I'm going to prove it to this lady that I'm more than capable. And I need to prove it to some that I don't have the 9 and 10 and 14 subjects, but I'm going to prove it by the end of these A-levels. I'm going to, whatever I have to do to get the grades, to get into this engineering program, I'm going to get it. And if I have bad teachers or good teachers, I'm going to get it. I'm not going to, at the end of this program, these 2 years, blame any failing on the lack of teachers or the lack of resources. I will do what I need to do to get into my engineering program of choice. So there were times when I would, during my tenure at St. George's College, the quality of the teachers weren't always the best. And I think that's a problem that we, developing countries and third world countries have to deal with sometimes. And often I meet students after I became a lecturer who complain that the teacher wasn't good. That's why the teacher don't good.
You must find ways.
You find a teacher. You find you find a book. You get the past paper. In my case, I identify the teachers that were essential and good, and the teachers that weren't good. Most of the times I probably would absent myself from class when possible, and I would just take my textbook and I would get the curriculum. I got the A-level. I learned from my mistakes of the CXC, because at that age I didn't know about curriculum, and so by the time I completed CXC.
Take the break at this point, Shallon. Stubbs is doing important work in research and development. A lot of it he can't even talk about because it is so sensitive. He's in South Korea, has had a string of difficulties, but he knows how to adapt. He will tell us when he comes back from the first break on Profile.